Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Homoeopathy Super Sessions by Dr. Jargos. Today, we'll be doing the last part of drug proving, that is a part 4 of the concluding part. In order to know the proper effects of the medicine, it must be given to the same person for several successive days in increasing doses. So, just in the part 3, I've told you that also, if you want to know the correct effect or the proper effect of the medicine, it has to be given to the same person for several successive days in increasing doses. That means the doses should be increased for a period of time when a good reaction occurs. We can learn the various morbid states that the medicine is capable of producing in a general manner, but we do not ascertain their order of succession. So out here, if we give the medicine for several successive days in increasing doses, we will be able to find out the capability of what symptoms are being produced in a general manner. But we do not ascertain the order of the succession. But we do not ascertain which symptom came first, which symptom came second, which symptom came third, and so forth. Why? Because it may so occur that the subsequent dose may often remove curatively some one or other of the symptoms caused by the previous dose, or it may develop an opposite state. So it may so happen while drug proving, when you're doing it, one symptom which is there, later on it may be removed curatively, or an opposite state then develops. So therefore, we do not ascertain the order of succession, but we can only know the capability of the medicine of what symptoms it is producing in a general manner. Such symptoms should be enclosed in brackets. So therefore, such symptoms, for example, which have been removed curatively, or it has developed an opposite state, such symptoms should be enclosed in brackets. This is done to mark their vagueness. This is done because we are not very sure. They are very vague symptoms. So therefore, we have put it in bracket. We are not very sure. Only subsequent pure experiments will show whether they are the reaction of the organism and secondary action or alternating action of the medicine. So just by one experiment, you cannot come to a conclusion. It is only by repeatedly doing the drug proving on different sets of prover over and over again, then only we will be able to come to know whether it is a secondary action or an alternating action of the medicine. If we only want to ascertain the symptoms of the drug without its sequential order and duration of action, then we can give a weak medicine substance for several successive days in increasing the dose every day. So in the last part 3 also, I've told the same thing, that, or Dr. Hanneman has said the same thing, that he said that if you only want to ascertain what symptoms the drug is capable of producing without its sequential order, we can give a weak medicinal substance for several days, but we have to increase the dose every day. In this manner, the action of unknown medicine, even in the mildest nature, will be relieved, especially if tested on sensitive persons. If the prover experiences any particular sensation from taking the medicine, he has to determine the exact character of the symptom. So whatever sensation is there, whatever location is there, whatever modalities are there, whatever concomitant symptoms are there, while proving the drug, the prover has to make note of it in a truthful and honest manner. That is the different modalities which make the particular sensations better or worse. So whatever sensation is getting, how it is made worse, how it is made better, all that the prover should write down. He has to observe the different ways in which symptom can be ameliorated or aggravated. So therefore, he has to observe the different ways in which the particular symptom is either aggravated or ameliorated. For example, suppose he has got a headache. So he has to see whether the headache is aggravated by mental strain, by stress, by jar, by touch, better by hot application, better by cold applications, better by closing the eyes, aggravated by opening the eyes, and so on and so forth. So therefore, he has to observe. The prover has to very meticulously observe in a very conscientious manner the different ways in which the symptoms get aggravated or ameliorated. Thus, the medicine has to be proved many times, and in one proving, all the symptoms are not aggravated. So therefore, naturally, if you want to get a complete proving, you have to prove the same remedy or the same drug on different sets of provers, then only the symptomatology will become evident. A medicine is said to be completely proved when it is proved on both the sexes and on various constitutions and no new symptoms appear. So when is the medicine said to be completely proved? When he proved the medicine on both the sexes, on various constitutions, and on subsequent proving, no new symptoms appear. So on subsequent provings, when no new symptoms appear, we know that, excuse me, we know that the drug is completely proved, and now we can conclude the proving of this drug. Different constitutions have a different physical and mental makeup, which has to be taken into consideration. So why it has to be proved on different constitutions? Because each constitution will have a different physical and mental makeup. Thus, once a medicine is proved, this whole extent, we can administer it according to symptom similarity and cure the sick person. So once you have got the full data of the drug proving, then only we can know that this is a pure proving, we can rely on it, and we can administer it to the sick person, and we can cure the sick person provided the symptoms are the same or based on symptom similarity. The proving will be relied upon provided the observer is honest, he has a delicate feeling and can express all his sensations clearly in the most minute way. So therefore, the duty of the prover is also very important. He should be honest, he should be sensitive, his feeling, whatever slightest feeling is there, he has to express it clearly in the most minute way. The prover has to observe the primary effects without any admixture of secondary effects or reaction of the vital force. So whatever the prover has observed, he has to write it down. The prover has to note down the time of occurrence, mention the time after the ingestion of the drug. So whatever, when the symptom occurred, what time it occurred, what time it disappeared, all this, the timing also has to be written down by the person who's proving the drug. He also has to note when each symptom arose and if it lasts long and the period of its duration. So how long one symptom lasted, what was its duration, all that also has to be mentioned. The physician looks over the report in the presence of the experimenter immediately after the experiment is concluded. So whoever is the main prover or whoever is conducting the proving, that is generally a homeopathic physician, he will look into the report of the drug prover immediately after the experiment is over concluded. If the trial lasts several days, he looks over the report every day. So but suppose the drug proving, naturally it will last for a couple of months. So in that case, the physician or the master prover has to look into the diaries of the drug prover every day and confirm whether what is written is right or wrong. This is done so that everything is still fresh in the memory to question him about the exact nature of every one of these circumstances. So why should the physician look into the diary of the prover every day? Because the symptoms are still fresh in the prover's memory, and the physician can ask him exact questions about the nature or the circumstances which may have aggravated or ameliorated or which have maintained the symptoms. Also, to write down the more precise details to elicit or to make the alteration as the experimenter may suggest. So by asking more questions, the physician will be able to elicit more precise information or make some alterations which may be required by the experimenter. If the person cannot write, the physician must be informed by him every day of what he has occurred to him and know and how it took place. So if the person cannot write or the person is maybe illiterate, then the physician, therefore that person should inform the physician or the master prover every day what are his sensations, what has occurred to him and how it took place. The authentic information obtained, however, must be chiefly the voluntary narration of the person who makes the experiment. So the information will be only authentic provided the drug prover has voluntarily narrated the symptoms which he has observed during the experiment. It cannot be an incomplete information. No leading question has to be put forward, as you may get wrong information, as in reference 84 to 99. For the investigation of the phenomena and for the picture of the natural disease. So basically, when you are When you're reading the day book, or when the physician or the master prover is reading the day book of the drug prover, no leading questions has to be asked, so that either we'll answer yes or no, as in the case of case taking, where low leading questions are to be asked. The reference is 84 to 99. Otherwise, what will happen? You may just get a wrong answer and you may not trace the correct picture of the disease. The best provers obtained if the prover is healthy and unprejudiced. So the best prover is there. The prover not only should be healthy, but he should be also unprejudiced. The sensitive physician institutes on himself with all the caution and care when asking questions to the prover. So the master prover or the physician also should have caution in conducting the inquiry, so that no direct questions are to be asked to the prover. The one who proves a drug knows when the greatest certainty what he experiences on himself. And naturally, one who proves the drug, or the drug prover who's proving the drug, he will know for sure with great certainty whatever he is experiencing on himself. So now let us see what are the advantages of proving a drug on oneself. These advantages are given in the long footnote number 103. So the advantages are that he knows the changes which have occurred on himself, and that becomes an incontrovertible fact, or it cannot be denied or disputed. So whatever changes are there occurring on himself, it becomes an irrevocable fact, and it cannot be denied or disputed. So whatever symptoms are there, that cannot be denied, or it cannot be a question of dispute, because whatever symptoms have occurred on himself, and he has noticed it in a very unprejudiced manner. The observations made on ourselves are more interesting than observing it on other people. So whatever you observe on yourself, it becomes more interesting, it becomes more authentic than observing it on other people. The sensation which he experiences has been fully understood by his thinking. So whatever sensations the prover is experiencing, he has completely understood, and he has rationally thought of the sensation and then written it down. So this also helps to become a very good observer. So your observation faculty, or your preciseness of knowing what sensations are there in your body through the process of drug proving will become more and more accurate. Observation done by oneself becomes more interesting to understand as compared to when done on other persons. So whenever you observe it on yourself, naturally it will become more interesting, it will become more easier to remember as compared to when it is done on other persons. Since the observer has experienced the sensation, he will express it in great detail, and he'll be able to remember, and will be easy to remember as he has only experienced the symptom. So another important point is that whatever sensation he has expressed in great detail, the observer will be able to remember it, or rather the drug prover who is proving it will be able to remember. Why? Because he himself has experienced such a symptom. When we prove a drug on ourselves, we always follow the path of truth, and as not as to be deceived. So naturally, as Dr. Hanneman has already told you, one of the important qualities is that the prover should be trustworthy, and he should be a lover of truth, so that we are not deceived. All sensational symptoms will be easily remembered if the person has proven the medicine on himself. Again, he is reminding you that all the symptoms, all the sensations, whatever the person has obtained or whatever person has experienced, he will be able to remember it because he is proving it on himself. It becomes very easier to remember as compared to proving it on other persons and then remembering it. Thus, the person becomes more experienced in the art of observing, and he will never deceive his own self. So what happens? The person becomes more experienced in the art of observing, and he will never lie, or he will never deceive himself. He becomes more zealous in conducting experiments which he can rely on. So what happens? He becomes more enthusiastic, becomes more zealous in conducting the experiments which he can rely upon. By repeated drug proving on oneself, we become less vulnerable to noxious influences in the environment. So if you repeatedly do many drug provings, your immunity will be strong, and you will be able to overcome the noxious influences in the environment, or the environmental stressors which are acting day in and day out on ourselves. The person will be able to avoid them, or will be able to basically, what do we say? I mean, make one more strong to avoid the noxious influence. That means what? In short, the immunity increases. Our immunity increases and we enjoy a good state of health. We become less sensitive to the environmental stressors and become more robust in all, as all experience shows. We have a true materia medica. So this is basically the advantage of proving your drugs on oneself. We can have a true materia medica, a collection of pure, reliable, reliable modes of action of simple medicinal substances. So why is the materia medica, Dr. Hahnemann has called this materia medica pura? Why is it called pura? Pura meaning pure. Pure meaning what? Collection of real, pure, reliable modes of action of simple medicinal substances. So we have a true materia medica when we have tested upon the healthy individual a considerable number of simple medicines and have carefully and faithfully registered all the disease elements and the symptoms. So if we are honest, if we are very careful, and if we are very faithfully recording all the symptoms, then whatever materia medica we have, it is the true materia medica. With respect to the word reliable, in footnote number 105, Dr. Hahnemann says, the mention of entrusting the proving on provers to stay far away from the master prover is not advocated, as the result were doubtful and uncertain, and it will lose all value. So if the prover is staying far away from the master prover, then the results will be doubtful, because the master prover will not be in a position every day to check the diary of the prover. So the prover may write down something which may not be correct, or he has given his interpretation which may not be correct, and the master prover hasn't again confirmed it by interacting with the prover. Therefore, this may become, this symptom which was registered by the prover may become doubtful and uncertain, and naturally, if it's doubtful and uncertain, it will lose all its values. Therefore, Dr. Hahnemann tells us that the proving should be done on a healthy human being who is in close vicinity with the master prover. He cannot stay very far away from the master prover, otherwise the master prover will not be able to check the prover's diary every day and confirm what is written is right or wrong. From such a materia medica, everything that is conjectural or that is merely assertion or imaginary should be strictly excluded. So in this materia medica, when we are recording the symptoms, whatever ideas we have, whatever hypothesis we have, whatever imagination we have, all that should be strictly excluded. Only what we are experiencing, that the prover has to write. He must not have any fancy ideas. He must not have any fancy imaginations or any biased ideas in his mind, so that to modify the symptoms. So whatever he feels, he must write down. Everything should be the pure language of nature, carefully and honestly interpreted. So everything should be the pure language of nature, carefully and honestly interpreted. So that means whatever symptoms the prover is writing down, the master prover has to carefully and honestly integrate the drug prover and write it down. Thus, by knowing the pure action of considerable medicines, we can discover a homeopathic remedy. That is a suitable artificial curative morbific analogue for each of the infinite numerous morbid states in nature for every malady in the world. So whatever morbid states are there in the world, we can definitely have a medicine which will combat it. Thus, the proved homeopathic medicine restores health in a gentle, sure, and permanent manner. So whatever medicines we have proved, they are genuine, they are trustworthy, they are pure, as a result of which it will restore the health in the most gentle, sure, and permanent manner. It is a sure and safe way of treating the sick. So by drug proving or by knowing the pathogenic effects of the drug on a healthy prover, it is the surest and the safest way of treating the sick. In contrast, the whole allopathic medical art frequently endangered life with its unknown composite remedies. So again, Dr. Hahnemann reminds us, as compared to the materia of the old school, where nothing was proved, where everything was just an imagination, or an hypothesis or an fancy. Nothing was proved. Everything was just an hearsay, as a result of which the old school endangered life, and with its known composite remedy. Composite meaning a mixture. It does alter and aggravate the disease condition, but cannot cure the disease. So the old school or the old allopathic method, when they use unknown composite remedies, what happens? It definitely alters and aggravates the disease condition, but it cannot cure the chronic disease. On the contrary, it rather retards than promote recovery from acute disease, and is frequently endangers life. So what happens? On the contrary, instead of the recovery, it will endanger the life. Why? Because the medicines, they were unknown and they were composite in nature. So that's all from the Organon textbook, which I have described to you in short and in simple language. And I hope you like my YouTube channel and also the drug proving parts 1 to part 4. So if you haven't still subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Thank you very much.